if there are any questions for myself, for Louise, for the parents, we're really encouraging you to ask questions. So, any concerns, I'm sure for a parent that's thinking, oh, my child is under 18, all the considerations you have, accommodation, are they going to make friends, all of these things. Whatever the question is, that's what we're here to answer. And this is really an opportunity to answer your questions. So it's not us giving you lots of information, we want to know what you would like to know. And of course we've got refreshments after, so we've got a little bit of a social time at the end so we can get to know you, and particularly for the students that have accepted their offers, get to know each other. You'll be seeing each other on campus in Melbourne in a few short months, so this is really a time for you to connect with each other as well. So I'll quickly start. So Trinity College Foundation Program. So this is the gateway building here. So for those of you that are coming to the foundation program, this is where you're studying your foundation program. Now, the reason why it's called the gateway building is it is the gateway to the university. Hello, welcome. So this is the foundation program, and this is the foundation building. So the gateway building, this is where you go on day one in orientation week. Now, a lot of you may have questions. For those of you that are joining, we have the first few days of your program is not classes, it's orientation week. So we will, give you your bearings. We'll give you a campus tour. We will help you get your public transport cards. We will give you all of that information. So you may have all these questions. Everyone else is in the same situation. They have lots of questions too. The foundation program is only for international students. So it's not like, oh, there's going to be lots of local students who know the program and I'm going to be the odd one out. Everyone is an international student coming to Melbourne. So you're all learning this for the first time together. So the experiences you have with your friends, you're all learning and going through that experience together. This is why the foundation program as a preparation program is so important, because you're all learning how to navigate through life in Melbourne, university study, understanding the programs, and when you join the University of Melbourne, you'll have lots of friends. From Trinity College into the University of Melbourne, it's about a 90% progression rate of students from Malaysia. Malaysia's in our top 10 countries in the foundation program. So of course there'll be lots of Malaysians, lots of students from other parts of Asia. Of course, don't just stick to your Malaysian groups. Make friends, learn about different cultures. It's all a part of that overseas education. And of course, when you join the university, a lot of local students will be coming in too. Make friends, make those connections. This is what makes your experience at university a good experience. So we are the only guaranteed entry pathway to the University of Melbourne. Trinity College is located within the campus of the University of Melbourne. This is very important because when you're not studying, when you're not in classes, you're exploring the campus yourself. Where's the libraries? Where's my favorite coffee shop? Where do I like to do my sports? If you you want to do running, you want to use the running tracks, things like that. You can familiarize yourself with the campus at your own pace. Some students that maybe they finish IB diploma or A-levels, they've done the education to get directly into the university, but they come into a university environment and it's completely different. They can get quite overwhelmed. All of a sudden, you're so used to the four walls of your school, you know exactly where everything is, you know the structure of your schooling. You come to university and you have a lot of free time. There's a lot less contact hours. How do you manage your time? How do you navigate through this really big campus? So, as you can see, it's a very large campus, lots of different spaces. In your foundation year, I really recommend you to explore the university campus and get involved with clubs and societies, find your favorite coffee shop, your favorite library to study in, things like this. When you are a university student in year one, the transition is much better. There's actually research that shows that in the first year of university, Trinity College students do remarkably better than other students coming directly to university. This shows us that this preparation program is very important, not just to help you academically get into university, but to cope with university, because there's a lot of independent learning and there's a lot of independence just in general lifestyle skills that you will get from university. And I'm sure our parents will share their experiences as well with how their own kids have gone through this program. So the biggest thing about the Trinity program is we are structured like university. So you don't have your 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. set class time, lunch time, assembly, break time, very structured. You don't have to think about it. You just look at the timetable, oh, I've got math class, or I've got assembly, that's what you do. At university, there's lots of gaps in your timetable. So you will have lectures, tutorials, and for those of you that do science, you'll have the science labs. So you'll have lots of gaps. So for the students that are here, one of you may have a very busy Monday, lecture, a bit of a break, and a tutorial. And on a Tuesday, maybe you've just got one tutorial in the afternoon. How are you managing your time? Are you sleeping in? Are you, doing groceries and errands? Are you going to clubs and societies and getting involved in meetings? Are you doing part-time work? Are you studying? There's lots of things for you to think about, and different students will spend their time differently. There's no right or wrong. The biggest message is you're coming to Australia on a student visa. You have to come to be a student. So you need to make sure that you're prioritising your education, showing up to your lectures and your tutorials. We do have attendance at Trinity College, so you do need to attend your lectures and your tutorials. It's 80% attendance. The reason why is, of course, the reason you're in Australia is to be a student. But outside of that, there's lots of different things that you'll be doing. You'll be socialising with your friends, you'll be doing your assignments, revising for exams, volunteering, like I said, part-time jobs. It's navigating how you manage your time. And this is something that you learn, and everyone does it differently, but it's about that independence. It's a very important skill, not just for university, but for your life skills as well. So the way we structure our timetables will reflect the university. So this means that in year one of university, when you see your timetable, you know exactly, okay, about this much time is independent study, about this much time I spend on groceries and cooking meals for the week. This much time is acceptable to have socializing time. You will know the right balance because you've done it already for a year in the foundation program. Another thing about the Trinity program, which is quite unique, is we have very small class sizes, maximum of 15 students per class. This is a very big advantage. With only 15 students, you get to know your peers really well. Now remember, I said a lot of the students you're in classes with, you will be coming to university with. So you'll be meeting them again in your undergraduate degree. Form those friendships, get those good study habits. So lots of students form study groups, they go and study together, and they help each other out. You will get to know your teacher really well as well. So the teacher will be asking you questions. They'll be going, Nurul, what did you think about this reading? Tell me what you thought, give me your opinions. There'll be a lot of discussion in the classroom. We want to try and normalise this because at university, this is how we do education in Australia. So you need to be very willing to participate in the classroom, to give your opinion, to ask questions, to work in a team and work with your group, and this will help you be a good student. So in a class of 15 students, you're not too shy. It's not like you're standing up in front of a room of 40 students giving a presentation or asking questions. When you get to know your classes in a group of 15, you can actually build your confidence, which will really help you when you get to university. So some of the very important skills that we will teach you to really prepare you for university, and apologies that these are a little bit small, but I'll read them out. So active participation. So as I mentioned, being comfortable to speak up in class, ask questions, give your opinion. This is what makes the classroom academically rich. We don't want students to just be silent and just do rote learning. We want students to be questioning things, to give their opinion, to ask and challenge ideas, write answers, things like that. Academic writing skills and researching skills. So we've got compulsory subjects at Trinity College, and one of these subjects is English for academic purposes. We will teach you how to do university citations. In any university assignment, at the end of your assignment, there's grading for referencing. You need to know how to reference. Doesn't matter what degree you're doing. We will teach you how to do those citations And what we teach you at Trinity is carried all the way through, whether you're in undergraduate programs or postgraduate programs at the University of Melbourne. For academic writing skills now, Malaysian students, you do very well with English writing. In your schooling systems, whether you do SPM or IGCSEs or IB diploma, you are quite comfortable with your speaking and also writing in English. But we are teaching you how to write well for tertiary education. So when you come to university, you have to be comfortable writing an English essay, maybe 3,000 words, but it's not just getting to the 3,000 word mark. It's actually, what are you doing with that 3,000 words? Are you conveying your message correctly? It's pinpointing and being to the point. It's how your ideas flow. So we will teach you in English for academic purposes how to do these things. This is very important to prepare you for university. If you pick up the right tips and tricks in the foundation program, it makes your university life a lot easier because you only get better. You improve every time you do it. So these skills, a lot of our students, they come into the program and they go, oh, I've got to write these essays and we're doing literature and I don't want to study literature because I want to be a doctor. But then when they go to university, they understand, oh, the reason why they taught us in this way is because it actually helps us in whatever field we're getting into. Critical thinking skills. So we have a course subject at Trinity called History of Ideas. It's not a history subject. We're not expecting you to memorize names and dates and places. We will use historical events as a context, and we will look at sources from different sides. And we don't want students to sit on the fence. We want you to form an argument. Whether you pick pro or against, it doesn't matter. It's how you formulate that argument and argue your case. So there'll be open class debates. So again, it's practicing your public speaking skills in a classroom, but learning how to really push for that argument that you're trying to make. Very important for some subjects later on, like law and certain marketing pitches and things like that. There's a very important skill. But also, we want students to do that in a written context, so argumentative essay writing. It doesn't matter what degree you would like to get into, they will often pose a question in a university assignment and say discuss. This means you need to either pick a side, you need to say pro or against and what your stance is. So this is something that we will teach you in Trinity that will really help develop your skills for university. The other things we'll teach you are confidence and public speaking skills. So we do have compulsory drama at Trinity College. Very mixed feelings about drama. Some students come in going, I'm really, really introverted, I really don't like drama. Other students are really ready to go for it. Now it's a really, really fun subject. It's by far the top subject. It's the highlight of students when they leave Trinity College. Lots of people come in with mixed feelings, but after they leave, I go, what's your favourite subject? Oh, drama, I loved drama. The reason why is you get to put your books aside, you take your shoes and socks off. It is drama, we get you to move around. The teachers make it very comfortable for you. They'll laugh at themselves, they'll make you do silly things, but in a small class of 15 students, if everyone has to do it, you all have a little giggle, you laugh at each other, you really break the ice and you really build your confidence. For whatever degree you would like to get into, you need to do public speaking. There will be group presentations, individual oral presentations. Even outside of university, when you're going for job interviews, maybe you're a marketing professional, you've got to do a marketing pitch. There are presentations or public speaking skills that are important as a life skill, not just for university. So if you learn how to be a good public speaker, it's something that it will never leave you. It will be something that will really benefit you in life. And we want to start students off young. We want to start you off before you join university to have that confidence to get up in front of a class and give a presentation. Now the last two are probably my biggest, the biggest advice I can give you in terms of how to prepare well for university. It's not so much academic. So it's your time management skills and your independent learning skills. As I said, different students learn differently. Maybe I'm the person that I can just sit down in a room by myself with my headphones and I like to study by myself. Another student might like to have collaborative sessions. 5, 6 students, they discuss their answers, they go through the, what do you think about this reading, what do you think about this, what does this mean? They like to have those discussions. There's no right or wrong, but It's about finding what works for you to be a good student. And so university, and particularly the Trinity program, is a great way for you to really try both. You know, there'll be times that you want to have study groups, times that you just want to study by yourself. You need to know what you need to academically progress into the university. So these skills, it's all about independence. It's nobody's telling you what's right or what's wrong. It's you trialing it for yourself, and this will help you understand how you study well when it comes to university. Now, with the Trinity program, we have 5 subjects. When it comes to the subjects, this is where we have JM as our education counsellors here to assist you. So sometimes it depends on what subjects you've taken at school, and there's a range of things. So when it comes to subjects, this is where the counselling teams can really talk you through the different degrees and the different subjects. But you will study 5 subjects in the Trinity program. Now, we take a best 4 average. With the best 4 average, we need to include the prerequisite subjects for your desired university course. So for example, if you would like to study a Bachelor of Commerce, you must take Mathematics 1 in Trinity. So you do your 5 subjects, and in your best 4 calculation, we must include Mathematics 1 to create that percentage, that guaranteed place at the University of Melbourne. So they're listed here, and I know they are a bit small, but they are on our, we've got in the bags that we've given you, there's a flyer. So the progression rates are all in there. And again, you can speak to your counsellors at JM. They can talk to you about the different subjects and what you need. So some of you, if you haven't taken additional math and you want to take a math subject at Trinity College, there's certain programs for that. So all of that, the JM team can help you. Now, aside from the academic side of things, we obviously understand at Trinity College a lot of students are coming who are under 18. So we have a minimum age of 16 at Trinity College. So this means obviously parents have lots of questions about how's my child going to cope, where are they going to live, what support is available to them. Obviously you as parents, it's a big step letting your kids move overseas, let alone just out of home, but actually to a different country. So we understand this, and at Trinity, we've been in operation for 32 years now, so a long time. We've dealt with lots of students who've been under 18 and who've gone before you. So we have a lot of support and well-being in place. So we've got a very successful mentoring program. So all students will have a mentor. That's your go-to person. It will be a staff member of Trinity College. We are locals. There's no silly questions. You may be like, Crystal, I really don't know where to buy my fruit and veggies. I'm going to this place, it's really expensive, I don't know where to buy my fruit and veggies. I'm a local who can tell you can go to the market and buy the fruit and vegetables. Like, we know what's around the campus, we know what's the best use of your money in terms of, I'm going to this place and it's really expensive, but I can go, no, go down the block and there's a cheaper supermarket down there, this is where we shop. So we're not just here for academic support, we're here just for making yourself get familiar with your surroundings in Melbourne, how to use the trams, all those kind of things. But of course, if you've got an academic issue and perhaps you don't feel comfortable going to your teacher, but you want to talk to someone about that, you can go to your mentor. We internally can speak to the right people or direct you to the right place to get the help that you need. So this mentoring system is very important. And also, a lot of students, they come back to Trinity and they catch up with their mentors. Even when they're at university, they come and say hello. That friendship is formed. So it's just a nice touch point for you to have a point of connection at Trinity College. We've also got a student welfare team. So any issues with under 18 students, we've got a curfew in place, so you need to be signed into your accommodation by 9:30 or 10 p.m. every night. Maybe there's an issue where a student consistently breaks curfew. The welfare team will get involved and they'll just let the parent know and just let Trinity, they'll let us know basically, so they'll let the agent know, they'll let the parent know, and of course they'll warn the student this is not acceptable. It's not to be very hard and harsh, it's just to keep students safe. when you're an under 18 student, you're a minor, there's a duty of care involved, but we have a welfare team that will kind of liaise with the agent, liaise with the parent, maybe your child has fallen sick and is not attending classes, we'll make sure the parents are aware, because sometimes when they're overseas, we don't know how they're communicating with their parents and things like that. So the welfare team is very much involved with the agents and the parents, making sure the student's safe, making sure they're doing well. We have one-on-one consultations. So if you feel like you've gone to a class and you've sort of only half understood what's going on and you just want more clarification, our teachers are very generous with their time. So you can book in a 20-minute consultation after class to sit with your teacher, to sit with your lecturer and go over the content. Maybe you've got a draft essay and you just, you want to really be sure that you're going in the right direction. Go to your teacher early and say, this is my draft essay, can you read over it and give me some pointers? This is what the academic team are there for. We're there to, we all want you to succeed and get into the University of Melbourne. And we want to help you, but we're not there to spoon feed you. It's up to the student being proactive, asking us for assistance when they need it, and of course the support is available for you. So, the teachers will often run revision classes before exams and things like that. It's not compulsory. If you want to attend, you attend. If you're happy with your study group or self-study, then you don't need to show up. But they're available for the students that need it. And now, of course, for under 18 support, guardianship and accommodation, definitely we can take questions about that after. I know there may be a few questions, but the under 18, there are quite a few rules when it comes to Australian immigration. So I know I've spoken to a few parents and there's a lot of back and forth with, can my child stay here? Do we have to pay for a guardian? It's all to do with that student visa and Australian immigration. When a student is under 18, there are quite a few strict rules. And so it's not Trinity being difficult, it's just the way that the student visa comes through and it applies to all institutions. But again, we'll be happy to take questions about that after. All right, so as I said, I'll try to keep it very brief. We do have, you can obviously follow us. For those of you that are joining us soon, get onto our socials. You can see what's happening this year, just to see what's happening on campus. So definitely follow us if you want. But we are going to move to the important part of the session today, which is meet the parents. So we've got two parents here who I will just ask to jump up here. Few questions that we'll go through. I might just sit on this side so I'm not in the projector. All right. So we have Claire and Sawney with us today. And first of all, I might just get them just to tell us a little bit about their kids. So, obviously we've got Trinity and one who's currently in Trinity now, so maybe just tell us what degree, if they're at university your child is in, and then what degree they'd like to get into as well at the university. So maybe I'll get you to start, Claire.
This is Claire here. So I have two daughters, has been studying in Trinity, and where one of them already in email, and this year is her final year. So both of them has gone through the pathway for via the Trinity pathway to email, right? My elder daughter, that she is studying in as a bachelor of biomedicine, and the other one is this year is her Trinity foundation year, and she'll be going for her the science, right? So basically, it's a bachelor's of science subject, in the paper.
And Sawney?
I'm Sawney. Then my daughter is studying Foundation of Commerce in Trinity College right now. And she wished to study law in future. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So maybe tell us why Trinity? Why did you choose Trinity as a pathway? What were your considerations in that process? So either of you can go.
because it's a pathway to University of Melbourne.
So she definitely wanted to come to Melbourne University.
The first choice.
Okay, yeah. And yourself?
So in fact, it's the same. It's a pathway to UML, and it has like a very good reputation, right? So that's why that's my daughter's choice.
Very
Yeah.
good. Now, and was it both daughters wanted to study at the same
Yes.
university, that or they
Yes.
both wanted Melbourne Uni?
Yes.
Very good. So maybe just for the people in the room, maybe you can explain a little bit about what studying is like at Trinity College. Of course, it's a little bit different to high school, but from your experience as parents and what you've seen of your children, what are the differences and how are they finding that studying the foundation program?
She have to be independent because always when stay at home, she depends on her parents, myself to call her, make her up. So this is a chance for her to learn.
And did she struggle at the start?
At the first, she's not used to it, but now it's okay. She's doing fine.
Then for my daughters, right, in a way, this is like a more a hands-off kind of approach in terms of the studying. Basically, it's like because of like during her, the year 11 days itself, right, a lot of those kind of like feeling from that, like from the teacher instead. So right now itself, like they have to be independent and as well as they have to look for the resources in order for them to learn. So these are those kind of things that they are learning.
And how about dealing with obviously a change in timetable? How do your children cope with that? You know, obviously having a lot of free time. How do they manage that time management?
I think like basically is they are planning on themselves basically according to the time schedule of that the lessons that that suits them, and in between the time itself that they are planning for their cooking time. Because of I asked my daughter that they have to prepare for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So in a way, yeah, that's how that they are learning, right? So in a way that they have to plan for the time for this, and at the same time that they are planning for the time for their own study revision as well.
What about your daughter?
My daughter, she will cook the meal in advance, like for example fried rice or noodles, and bring to the school tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. That's good planning. So for those of you that are, to be conscious with your budgets, it's good to bring in your leftovers.
Because actually quite limited the food choice over the Trinity College there. I think there's only one cafeteria.
Within Trinity College, so we are within the grounds of the University of Melbourne. So within the University of Melbourne, there are cafes. We of course are very close to CBD. It's very close to walk. So I know a lot of students that prefer to actually go into the city. You can go to Chinatown, you can go to all those places, get your food. Lots of great coffee in Melbourne. So for those of you that like coffee, brunch. Massive brunch culture as well, so we are a big food capital. We are very much foodies in Melbourne, so it's very important for our culture.
But sometimes in between class, it's not so like don't have time to go to the city.
Yes,
So yeah, it's
yes.
rushing it. Better to stay in campus.
That's right. Go out for dinner instead.
So, sorry if I can add on. So for University of Melbourne, we have about 20 cafes on campus scattered around. So you just like some of them can be like sit down, like can have your food on that, or some of them could be like a grab and go kind of food.
Yeah.
So it is easy for especially for university students as well, because they're like rushing past to class. And actually we do give away like free food during their exam period of time. Yes. Yeah. So they can carry away like foods and vegetables, and also there are like sandwiches. Depends on what kind of meals we actually provide. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And also,
Some occasion.
Yes, actually pretty often, right?
Pretty
She's
often.
not aware of that. Not long enough to stay.
Yes.
Now, have either of you travelled to Melbourne and actually visited the campus of Trinity or the University of Melbourne before you enrolled your kids into the programs?
Yes, I do. Yeah, because of like in a way we have friends there, so that's why we travel there. And in fact, like when my elder daughter started the foundation year at the time, right? So we accompanied her there, get a chance to visit the campus in like of Trinity. site as well as the email. So there was a walking tour that guided us all the entire campus. So it's like a very pretty place.
Yes,
Very pretty.
it is. Some people say it's very much like Harry Potter, so it's very Harry Potter building. So very much the campus of Trinity College and the University of Melbourne. I think it was the same architects as like Oxford and Cambridge universities. They helped do the architecture for the University of Melbourne. So the grounds are very beautiful. I'm very lucky to work there every day. But yeah, it's a very nice campus. And yourself, had you travelled and visited the campus before?
Together with my daughter when she was studying there.
Yeah, that's good. Now I guess maybe tell us, we talked a little bit about the campuses, but what's your favourite part about the campus of either the University of Melbourne or Trinity College?
The Trinity College I like most is the gateway building and also the chapel. I took a lot of pictures in the chapel. And then the Unimel, basically the entire place is, all the buildings is beautiful. Yeah, very classic.
Yes. And yourself?
But those they cannot allowed to say there's a hostel there, right? But for the below 18, they are not allowed to stay there. There's only I think it's better if they can.
Yeah, so
stay there,
at the University of Melbourne they have residential colleges, like a lot of universities have residential colleges. So for Trinity students, you're not part of the residential college or accommodations. They're very close to campus, but they're off campus. Once you actually join the university, you can then apply. It can be quite competitive because there are local students and international students, but you can apply to stay in the residential colleges. I think there are 12 around the Crescent, so each of them have their own slightly different vibe, but that's definitely something that you could, I've had students that do, but in most cases, a lot of students become friends at Trinity, and after they turn 18, they'll share house somewhere close to CBD. Get a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment. You can cook and manage your finances in that way. So that's a lot of the Trinity program. Of course, it's the academic preparation for university, but it's all about the connections you make. You're obviously leaving Malaysia, in some cases not knowing anyone in Australia, but then you're making these friends that are not just temporary friends. They'll be your friends for the next 5, 6, 7 years, depending on what course you would like to get into. A lot of them will make friends at Trinity and they will move in together, they will go work together, get part-time jobs together. So that's part of your university experience. And we always recommend you at Trinity, we will always encourage you to connect with people, to get involved. It's not just the educational side of doing well and getting top grades in your classes, but it's actually joining clubs and societies, getting involved in the different things, the events that happen on campus. This will help you with your student experience. Maybe we can talk a little bit about accommodation because we've sort of segued in that way. So during the Trinity program, where did your children stay? And maybe talk to us about that under 18 accommodation process. I'm sure there's lots of parents here, you've got lots of questions about that under 18 accommodation, but if you could just share your experience about the accommodations that they stayed in.
Sure. My two daughters that they are staying in Hugo right now. So in fact, both of them started the time that they are only 17 years old. So my daughter right now she is still under 18, right? And staying in Hugo, but the place itself is the facilities is very good. And they also have that the under 18 some officers to help out in terms of not only that the curfew, but it's for anything that is needed as one person that can go to. With some good facilities in terms of some TV room, games. Yeah, very good actually. The place is very good.
And how close to campus?
It's just walking distance, 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes, very close.
It's 3 tram stop. Yeah, my daughter always take the
Yeah.
So she says that you go as well?
Yeah.
And what's her experience? Does she like living in Hugo?
Yeah. If next year she would like to stay there also.
I think they know each other.
Yeah.
All of them, right?
That's right. And so another thing is obviously in your accommodations, as under 18 students, you do have curfew, but it doesn't mean, okay, lights out, you're in bed, 9:30 p.m., that's it. You're able to move around the buildings. So if you want to, hang out with your friends and watch a movie, some of the accommodations, they may have like in-house movie theatres, or if you want to do some communal cooking, you want to bake with your friends, and some of the accommodations have communal kitchens and things like that. You can study group, you can do all those things in the space. It's just for under 18 students, you can't be out in the city late at night. You need to be, signed into your accommodation, and you're not able to leave in that curfew period. But you'll be in class with these students, but they're not just your classmates. You'll be, cooking with them. You'll be actually doing life with them, and that creates a lot of very strong friendships. A lot of people say they've got lifelong friends from their time at Trinity College, and sometimes at university it's a little bit harder to get that connection, only because you may have a local Australian students that after class they go back home to their families. They say, okay, bye, and off they go. When you're having dinner, when you're in the city, when you're not sure what to do, who to connect with, but at least if you're going back and you've got students who are staying in your accommodations or in accommodations nearby, you're actually, you're doing grocery shopping together, you're doing all those simple, mundane things, but you're with your friends and making those connections. So this really helps you find your community in a new country when you've left your parents, your family, your support systems aside. Now, did your kids actually struggle with that transition from leaving Malaysia, coming to a new country? They obviously can be quite nervous time for them. How did they go with that sort of transitional period?
Yes, definitely there's a transition period, especially when it comes to turning from like a mommy daddy girl, turn into like an independent life. How to handle the food, right? How to arrange like all her errands, right? So in fact, she needs to guide through on that, and she needs to learn how to do the planning. And most important, during the transition period, that's when she gets to know a group of friends. Then there's a community childhood that's very important.
And your daughter?
Yeah, my daughter makes some close friends, so she always visit her friend in the same hostel.
Yeah. And when she actually moved across, did she, the first week of Australia, how did she find it?
Maybe a bit nervous because
Yeah.
since everybody have their own friend and she's new.
Yes.
Because they have groups of Chinese from China. They have Vietnamese and also what else? Indonesian.
Yeah.
But they are quite friendly people.
Yes, and that's the thing. We are obviously we have that level of inclusivity and respect for everyone. So we really enforce that when it comes to Trinity College. I think naturally people tend to gravitate to people that are like them, and that just seems to be the case. So these little cliques form, but then within the classes we really try and mix the students. So even if you may be a science student or another student might be wanting to get into commerce, those two core subjects of English and history of ideas, these are mixed subjects. You'll be with the art students, design students, the science students, you'll be all mixed in the fields, which is really good to meet new friends, to make new connections. But yeah, we always encourage students, don't just stick to your little Malaysian group, your Singaporean group, or whatever it may be. You're coming to a new country to make new connections. But of course, we do have clubs and societies at Trinity College and the University of Melbourne. So for example, there is a Malaysians of Melbourne University Association, Student Association, which Joey, who's Claire's eldest, was actually the president of until she just finished her term.
She was the vice secretary.
Vice secretary, I'm sorry. Until she's just finished her term. But sometimes it's good for you to connect into those clubs and societies, because when you all come home for your summer break, there are still activities that happen here in Malaysia, in KL, in different areas. You can connect with your students from Trinity College and the University of Melbourne, but also culturally they understand what you're going through because they did schooling here. When you've got questions for your seniors, please ask, because they're more than happy to share their experience. So I always say to Trinity students, join these clubs and societies, because when you join university, if you've had another IGCSE student who's come from Malaysia who's gone through the same pathway, you can ask them questions. In year one, what subjects did you take? How did you find this? You know, what about this club or society or this event or activity? Go and ask students that have done it before you. This is how you learn about their experiences. It helps you make more informed choices. Lots of our students do this. So at Trinity, we actually sponsor Trinity students to be part of this, the Malaysians of Melbourne University. So you don't even have to pay for it. You just need to sign up for it. So it's something that you're able to do. So during your orientation weeks, I'll be the one that's sending you an email saying, you know, if you would like to join this club or society, click on this link. And if it's something that you would like to do, of course, there's no pressure. You can come to university and join 0 clubs or societies, and you can still do fine. But part of the university experience, from our opinion, is getting involved, and it really helps you as well, sometimes for being a bit more competitive when it comes to jobs. If you've done a volunteering position or you've had a leadership position in a club or society, this can be something that you can use when you start doing your CV, going for jobs towards the end of your university study. Those sorts of things, employers in Australia, they really like that. Not just in Australia, employers in general, they really like students that are well-rounded. It's something that helps you, and it also helps you gain more friends, gain more connections. All right, maybe we'll talk about some of the skills that you as parents saw your children develop in the Trinity program. So it could be academic skills, it could be just general life skills. Like, what areas have you seen your children grow in since they left home and joined the Trinity program?
Cooking skill, I guess. Then maybe stuff like learn to take train, tram, public transport,
Yeah.
and getting around.
And in terms of, like, I guess, is your daughter good at budgeting and her finances,
Yeah,
groceries and
she'll
things
know
like
how
that?
to budget, and she'll know, like, in terms of fruit is and vegetable, maybe it's more expensive over there, but meat and those seafood, some could be like same price or it's cheaper because they are local produce.
And what about you, Claire?
I think like my daughters, right, that they become very confident. Yeah, so these are the kind of confidence level throughout that life that they learn. And at the same time, it's like planning, like that's another part that they learn. Because like budgeting is one part, another part is like in terms of how they want to plan their future, the studies. In fact, like Janice, my younger daughter right now, she has already been like start planning for her the next 3 years already, and which like she have a plan to share with me. In a way, I find that that's with like the Trinity stuff that will help us through for all this.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, they will learn how to solve their own problem. Yeah.
Every parent's dream, they can solve their own problems. Now, I know I'm conscious of the time, and I really want to give you guys an opportunity, of course, to ask questions as well. So I'll just go through a few more, and then I might open up to the audience and see what you guys want to know. Maybe what I'll ask, well, as we've got our JM, our education partner here, maybe explain a little bit about that process of applying to Trinity. You know, how the team at JM have helped with not just application, of course, you've got accommodation, student visa lodgement, all of those things. So maybe share your experiences, and you know, if you guys have questions about that as well, you can ask the parents as well. So maybe
actually JM help us to like handle everything. So in a way, like as parents, like we will have no clue in terms of like where to source for the accommodation, where to get the visa, how like the whole process in order to get like example. Actually, it's not only the visa; it requires those a lot of the detailed things in order to get the visa. CCA, all the forms itself that they help us through in terms of the entire process. In a way, like give me that kind of like problem free. Yeah. So like this is like that sense of the kind of like that kind of safety, right? So the way they help us to prepare that.
Yeah, GM been very helpful on all the processing. But the problem is the frustrating part is the visa part.
yes.
I've been waiting for like waiting.
And that, of course, with
it's
there was a
4
big
months
delay
for
with
the
the
visa.
visas.
4 months for the visa, but there's nothing wrong with the visa. No one could tell me like what else they need. But everything document is completed. Then all the tuition fee, everything is paid.
And I guess, just for you guys, the reason why we work with agents here in Malaysia is because, I'm in Melbourne, I'm not here to assist you, so it's really helping you guys make it,
Maybe I'm the unlucky one.
yes, I mean, even we don't understand, why, so, when it comes to immigration, we're not immigration specialists. We don't know immigration. So, sometimes the visas, I know they can take a bit of time, and so particularly for under 18 students, for those of you that have got your visas, that's great because there can be a bit of a time delay to get the visas through. So, I guess the advice is apply early, accept early, apply for your visa. Your team at the JM counsellors will probably push you and go, you need to apply now. It's only because they're not pressuring you, it's they know the timelines and they know roughly that time to expect for a visa, because particularly this time of year coming into January, February, it's very, very busy. You're not the only one applying, many students are applying. So it's just trying to get to your intake in time. And so there is a bit of time, and of course for under 18 students, you are minors, we have to really check everything. There is a lot of paperwork and things to check. So a few more steps when it comes to 18 students, of course, because there's that duty of care to make sure you're all looked after. Maybe you as parents, giving other parents advice or comments on, sending your kids overseas. What advice do you give to other parents and at this time where either they're just about to send kids over or they're still thinking, do I not, what do I do? What piece of advice could you give to other parents who are here in the room?
I think for my daughters, right, I think one thing itself is I find that you have to be open mind, especially because of right now is 4 years ahead that we need to decide of what is the future path, right? So sometimes along the line itself, along the pathway of the 4 years that you're going through itself, that things might change, or the interest, what you want to do itself, that might change. So that's why, just like my elder daughter, when she started taking the bachelor of the biomedicine itself, right, she told me that she wants to become a doctor. But in a way, right now this is the final year. She just gotten that offer for that medicine part as well. But it's just that her interest changed. She wants to become more on the research, in which I find that we need to accept that. And because of this is what the choice, just to be open-minded, things will change. But along the line itself, along the pathway itself, that you will still go to, most important, as a parent, we just want our kids to be successful, right? So that's one piece of advice.
That's very, very good advice.
If my daughter maths is not that strong, so maths is very important in University of Melbourne. Most of the major they require maths one. Then maybe your other student there, like from China, their maths is very strong. Then you have to prepare. But for English is our advantage.
That's right, that's right. So your English language is very good, but yeah, mathematics is important for a number of degrees at the University of Melbourne. Hey, you have a question?
The 4 season clothes straight away to them on the January.
Oh, you mean that actually most of the time is cold. So in a way, 2 seasons that is sufficient. Yeah, most of the time Melbourne is cold. So even though in summer itself it's still considered as cold. So in a way,
Like you enroll in EU, right? That's my son in green place. It's definitely Jurong. It's not big place. The room I saw the storage.
yes.
So
Yeah.
having an edit on my pen.
I think in Melbourne they like puffer jackets. It's very in at the moment. It's a nice thick jacket which you can
So
wear.
like now Uniqlo is having all the winter fashion. So I go there and grab whatever I can and stuff it in for here, and I still don't know how much I can pack.
I think some of those I would suggest not necessary to pack everything. Because like when you're there itself, they have some suitable kind of like outfit that you can find in the factory outlet, and that's cheap. Yeah.
Yes.
So last time I bought Uniqlo, right? At the end of the day, when I go there, it's too thin, so it doesn't suit you, right?
So I bought the thermal vest inside, then the rest I just use.
Yeah. So maybe you just need a jacket, like one jacket. So when you go
Most
there,
of the time it's cool.
most of the time cold. Imagine like summer times is around 10 degrees.
Like now it's considered summer.
Yeah, but there summer is.
I
I've seen.
remember in Perth it's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they could have hot season in the day in
Yes,
Australia.
yes.
And in the morning it's
Melbourne,
cold.
according to the father, Melbourne is terrible. Because it's like a big swing from day
It
to
does,
night.
it does. You can have like rain, wind, you know, sun, it
Yeah.
changes within half an hour, it can change.
Just go and buy a pizza cake.
Yeah.
Many friends
That's what I can from
Yeah.
And even when you come, you know, you can buy things like umbrellas, things like that. It's very cheap. And in the city, all the shops are there. You've got
Yeah.
Melbourne Central, Emporium, you've got DFO. It's easy. Just one day out, they can do their shopping.
So I would just pack, just right
The
for that
yeah,
storage.
essentials.
That's right.
I mean, when you're coming in January, it will be warm. You won't need to worry too much about thermals in January, but come June, July, that's when it gets colder. So you'll be warm for a bit, but you'll notice how it shifts. You know, for the students coming in January, February, come about end of April, you'll start feeling a little bit chilly, and then you realise, okay, I need a jacket now. I need to start preparing for winter.
So I pack the fourth season,
Yeah.
third for
Yeah, including those like you know the beddings, right? Which is like for sleeping, like what's that called?
Do you know, like your covers?
Yeah, duvet. Right. So I strongly recommend you to buy that. So there's in DFO or online, you can do some research first before you go to DFO. So at least like you can see what is the price, what is ongoing like a discount.
So you don't buy here?
No.
By them. They have something that is called for all seasons. There is some duvet that is for all
Where?
seasons.
But like what shop?
Forgotten the name. Yeah. So but they do.
There's lots of places. Like you can go to Kmart, you can go to, you know, you can go to the Maya, David Jones. You can do, and I mean in January as well. A lot of the post-Christmas New Year's sales. It's a great time to buy.
So buy those as suitable for four season.
Yes. I mean, we've got one more question at the back. Yes. So,
I have a question for the mom wearing the green shirt. Your daughter studies the degree for commerce, right?
Yeah.
Has she ever emphasized on how difficult the math is there?
Because she's a bit struggling in maths now, and because she said for those in depth, most of them they already have they already studied the topic before, but she never learned before, and because she never take the MS.
Maths when she was in IB.
Yeah, because she never take MS. That's-
But if you have a foundation or you take further maths in IB, it will be much easier.
Yeah.
we always have questions about that. Yeah. So mathematics, the reason why math is there's a big question with math, because some parents go, please can my child sit a test? You know, they want their child to get into the standard program. We put them in the comprehensive program for the benefit of your child, because of course that's going to be part of their best 4 average to get the score to get into University of Melbourne. There's no point putting them in the standard program and then they don't get the score to get into the University of Melbourne because their math was weak. Those extra time in maths is actually important for us to prepare the students well, so that when they do their final exams, we're confident they have a strong chance of getting their degree in science, in biomedicine, in commerce. This is why. So math is a problem because some schools don't offer math, or some students just didn't know and they didn't take it. Lots of different reasons, but the prerequisite subjects are what are important for you to get into the University of Melbourne. So do it properly, get the right foundational knowledge. It will help you at university as well.
And one more thing is, don't buy the calculator here. So, Trinity, right? They have their specific, especially foundation year, they have their specific models that they like want the student to use. So if you only like you go there and buy, you can find it there.
Yes. So scientific
My
calculator.
doctor never mentioned that she already bring the calculator from home.
So some of the scientific calculators are okay.
Oh,
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
she had the right
The right one.
Yeah.
Particular model, yeah.
Yes.
My concern is actually more the age of the children because my daughter, you said the minimum is 16 years, right? For entry, she will be 16 years old when she intends to go.
She will be 16.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
But how many 16-year-olds are there?
We have a lot. From Malaysia, from Singapore, from Indonesia, a lot of parents, they send their kids as soon as they can. I've got parents going, can I send my kid earlier, 14, 15? I said, sorry, we cannot. So, you know, there are some young
is 14,
students.
right? I heard the youngest is
16.
16, the youngest in the history of.
Yes, so 16, from an immigration point of view, to get the visa, we have lots of 16-year-olds.
16 when they apply for the visa.
No, when they come, they're 16. As long as they're 16 when they start the program, that's fine. Of course, you know, the accommodations have welfare teams. We have welfare teams. You know, of course, students. The parents worry so much. Give the students 3-4 weeks in the program and they're fine. They don't know what they were worrying about all that time. They've made their friends. They know their whereabouts. You know, they know their locations. They've got the curfew. Melbourne is a very safe city. You know, there's lots of international students. It is a real student hub. Lots of students around. It's a, you know, a relatively busy city. There's lots of people around, and where you're staying in your accommodations, it's not like you're going down a dark alley somewhere. It's very lightly, you know, very bright and lightly lit up. So it's not like you're walking in questionable areas. You're in the CBD. It's a busy place. So of course, you know, be smart. You know, don't, you know, walk with friends. Do things like that. You know, if you're coming home late and it's winter, go with a group of friends. You'll have friends staying at the same accommodation as you. So be smart and have that common sense. And I think that's in any big city, anywhere in the world, not just Melbourne, anywhere in the world. But it is a very safe city, and I live in the CBD, and I'll go home well past midnight sometimes, and I'm not worried. So it's something that it's not a big concern.
We studied there like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago, and now it's very different. That was why we are afraid of that.
Yeah, no, there's many students in the same situation, so it's not like it'll only be your daughter, there are other people in the same situation. Alright, what I might do is, just because I'm conscious of the time, I might get Narul just to get up. She's from JM Education, so she will just share a little bit about JM services, and I very quickly, just a little thank you from Australia, so thank you so much to our parents and group. If you have questions, we will hear, we obviously have food and we'll mingle and answer questions, but just in terms of ending the formal part, I'll hand over to Narul.
Sure. Thank you everybody for coming today. So my name is Nurul. I'm from GM Education Group. So basically there are some of my students here too. Alright, so basically I hope you guys actually get better insight in terms of Trinity and also University of Melbourne and why you should actually consider Trinity as the preferred pathway to University of Melbourne. So basically, as you also do in touch with your counsellors, if you have any other further inquiry after this, please do keep in touch with us and we will revert to you ASAP. So basically, once again, thank you so much to Crystal and also to University of Melbourne, Louis and so Kai for the presentation today. Alright, let's go from and Mrs. Young, alright, for sharing the experience, because I know that for parents you got pretty uncertainty of what things will be and whatnot. Yes, I hope it's actually a great help for you guys. Yeah, so maybe after this you guys actually can help yourself for some of the food, and also we do have iced lemon tea, and if you need any hot drink, do let us know. We will let the waiter know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.